Bitcoin on a bit of a roller coaster this week, along with markets as investors digest President Trump's latest moves around tariffs. The cryptocurrency is currently hovering just under 100,000. And later today, we'll hear from Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs. Yep, here to break it all down, we've got Lyn Alden, who's the founder of Lyn Alden Investment Strategy. Lyn, great to have you here on the program with us. Let's start with the recent price action around Bitcoin and what we can expect to hear today.
Yeah, good set of questions. So Bitcoin generally trades pretty closely with liquidity. That's one of the closest correlations I've found with the asset. And so whenever we get these kind of short-term market confusions around tariffs or around any other kind of market moving event, you'll generally see Bitcoin do a lot of movement as well, especially if it's around a weekend when it's one of the only liquid assets available. So I'm not surprised to see turmoil in the current market, but I think the overall market structure looks healthy. There's a lot of speculation on what we'll hear later today, but in general, the trend is probably a broadening of like a rollback of regulations, more clear guidance on the broader cryptocurrency security space is probably the type of news we should expect to hear.
I'll add one further to that, and it's consideration that could be playing into the move higher to 100,000 and kind of stabilizing at this level post-election, which is the building out of the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And so all those things considered that you were mentioning, plus the reserve mindset, what do we need to begin to hear some of the formulation and timelines around when this will all be kind of brought to fruition?
Yeah, so we've seen proposals moving forward to have a sovereign wealth fund as well as a digital asset stockpile. And that, there's different levels of reserves. So there's assets that are actually intended to be used as foreign exchange reserves. And then there's other types of assets that can be held for other reasons, for example, a strategic petroleum reserve that are not necessarily associated with the currency itself, but instead they find it for one reason or another to be relevant for national interest to have it for utility purposes or elsewhere. So I think that, we will see more and more movement on this, whether it's today, whether it's over the course of, the first, call it 2 years of this administration. I think probably from an investor standpoint, you want to err on the side of conservative. You don't want to put a lot of expectations on what kind of announcements could be made associated with Bitcoin or other assets, because it's always better to be surprised to the upside than to be surprised to the downside. I think the fundamentals are strong enough to make the case for the asset, even putting aside some of the bigger possible announcements we could hear, and then allow that to be upside should we get, more bullish announcements than we maybe expect.
Lyn, you lay out 3 reasons that people should be considering investing in Bitcoin this year. Break them down for us.
So one of them is the fact that Bitcoin's network effect remains very strong. So when you look at Bitcoin dominance, the percentage of the total cryptocurrency ecosystem, that Bitcoin represents, that's been on the rise lately. It's very strong. There's millions of cryptocurrencies now, and Bitcoin is well over half of the entire space, especially when you strip out stable coins, which are basically just dollars trading on crypto rails. So Bitcoin dominance is looking very healthy. When you look at various kind of on-chain indicators of euphoria, so for example, market value versus on-chain cost basis in aggregate, it doesn't look like prior cycle tops yet. It doesn't mean that market structure might not change or cycles might not change, but in general, we don't see some of the warning signs that we normally see at major cycle tops like 2021, 2017, and that type of thing. And then also, we're finally seeing a lot more interest from corporations. So in the prior cycle, MicroStrategy was the main corporation that added Bitcoin to its treasury as a treasury reserve asset for itself. And we didn't really see a lot of movement after that, despite the fact that MicroStrategy was advocating for it and holding conferences for it. But as you've seen better accounting, and as you've seen a full cycle of strong performance from MicroStrategy, this seems to be the cycle where actually we are getting more and more corporate announcements. And so I expect that trend to probably continue for a while longer. I think all these trends are pretty bullish for Bitcoin specifically within the digital asset ecosystem.
Lyn Alden, thanks so much for taking the time here with us.
Thank you.